Imagine this. You're cleaning an office building at night. You have almost nothing. Your paycheck barely covers rent. One day, you meet a woman working as a maid just like you. She looks tired. She looks hungry. So you do something most people would never do. You give her your last meal. Your only food. But here's where it gets crazy. That woman, she wasn't a maid at all. She wasn't even human. What you're about to hear is a story about kindness that changed everything. It's about a man who had nothing and a woman who had everything. It's about how one act of compassion revealed a secret so big that it could shake our understanding of the entire universe. This isn't just a story about aliens. It's a story about what happens when someone shows mercy to a stranger. And trust me, the ending will make you see humanity in a completely different way. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Marcus worked the night shift at the Meridian building. It was a tall glass structure in the middle of a big city. Every night at 8 o'clock, he would clock inches. He would grab his mop and his bucket. The building was quiet then. Just him and the empty hallways. Marcus was 43 years old. He had worked this job for almost 5 years. The pay was not good. The hours were long. But it was honest work, and Marcus believed in honest work. His apartment was small. It had one bedroom. The kitchen barely fit 2 people. Marcus lived alone. He had no family in the city. He had no close friends. Most nights, he went home, ate something simple, and went to sleep. He would wake up and do it all again. This was his life, and Marcus had made peace with it. One Tuesday night, something changed. Marcus was mopping the main lobby when he heard a sound. It came from the back storage room. He stopped. He listened. The sound came again. It was someone crying. Marcus put down his mop. He walked toward the sound. The storage room door was slightly open. Inside, sitting on the floor between cleaning supplies, was a woman. She was young, maybe 30 years old. Her hair was long and dark. Her eyes were red from crying. She wore a maid's uniform just like Marcus's. Her name tag said her name was Alina. Marcus had seen her around the building before. She worked a different shift. They had never really talked. Marcus felt something in his chest. Compassion. He knew that feeling. He had felt it before when he was younger. Back when life was better. Back before everything got difficult. "Are you okay?" Marcus asked. His voice was quiet and gentle. Elena looked up. She jumped a little bit. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She tried to smile, but it didn't work. Her smile was broken. "I'm fine," she said. But her voice was shaking. She was clearly not fine. Marcus knew better than to push. Sometimes people needed time. He sat down next to her. Not too close. Just close enough that she would know she wasn't alone. "Bad day?" he asked. Elena nodded. She looked away. Her hands were shaking a little bit. Marcus noticed this. He noticed everything about her in that moment. The way her shoulders were curved inward. The way she breathed. The way she tried so hard to look strong but was breaking inside. "I haven't eaten in 3 days," Elena said suddenly. The words just came out, like she had been holding them in for too long. Marcus felt his heart drop. 3 days. He couldn't imagine that. He had money problems. He had real problems. But he ate every day. That was something he never took for granted. Food, heat, a place to sleep. These were basics. Everyone deserved basics. Without thinking about it too much, Marcus reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out his dinner. He had made it himself that morning. It was simple. Some rice, some vegetables, a little bit of chicken. He had been looking forward to eating it on his break. He held it out to Elena. "Here," he said. "Eat this." Elena looked at the container. Then she looked at Marcus's face. She could see that he meant it. He wasn't trying to be nice for show. This was real. "I can't take your food," Elena said. "Yes, you can," Marcus replied. "You need it more than I do." Elena took the container with both hands. She opened it slowly. She looked at the food like it was the most precious thing she had ever seen. Maybe it was. She ate it quickly, but not frantically. There was something sad about the way she ate, like she was remembering what it felt like to have enough. When she finished, she looked at Marcus with tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what this meant to me." Marcus smiled. He did have an idea. He knew what it was like to have nothing, to feel invisible, to wonder if anyone would care if you just disappeared one day. "Don't mention it," he said. But neither of them knew what would happen next. Neither of them understood that this simple moment would unlock something much bigger, something that would change everything they thought they knew about the world. After that night, Marcus and Elena started talking more. They would see each other on their breaks. Sometimes they would sit together in the empty break room. Elena would tell him about her life. She had come to the city from far away. She had family back home, but they didn't know how hard things were for her. She was embarrassed to tell them, so she kept it secret. She cleaned buildings for money. She lived in a room she shared with 3 other women. She was barely surviving. Marcus listened. He didn't try to fix things. He just listened. And slowly, Elena started to open up more. But then something strange started happening. Elena would sometimes say things that didn't make sense. One night, she was looking out the window at the city lights. She said, "The energy patterns here are inefficient. They waste so much light into the atmosphere." Marcus thought it was just an odd observation. Then another time, she mentioned knowing about a historical event that hadn't happened yet. When Marcus asked her about it, she got very quiet. She changed the subject. Marcus tried not to think about it too much. People said weird things sometimes. But part of him was curious. Part of him wondered if there was something more to Elena than she was telling him. One night, about 3 weeks after they first met, something happened that Marcus would never forget. They were cleaning the office building together. It was very late. Almost midnight. Everyone else had gone home. It was just them in the entire building. They were on the top floor. The view was incredible. The entire city spread out below them. Millions of lights. Millions of people living their lives. Elena stood at the window. She was staring out at the view. Marcus was mopping nearby. "Do you ever think about how small we are?" Elena asked. She sounded different. Her voice was deeper, more serious. "Sometimes," Marcus said. He kept mopping. "How small our problems are," Elena continued. "How tiny our lives are in the context of everything that exists." Marcus stopped mopping. He looked at her. Something was different about her. Her skin seemed to have a very slight glow. It was probably just the light from the city reflecting off her, he thought. But something felt different. "Elena, are you okay?" Marcus asked. She turned to look at him. Her eyes looked different too. Deeper, like he was looking into something much older than a 30-year-old woman. Like he was looking into something ancient. "Marcus," she said slowly, "I need to tell you something. But first, I need to know if you trust me." Marcus thought about it. He thought about how she had been the only person he had really talked to in years. He thought about how she understood his loneliness, how she had sat with him in his pain without trying to fix it. He thought about how real their connection felt. "Yes," he said. "I trust you." Elena nodded. She walked closer to him. The glow around her seemed stronger now. It wasn't his imagination. It was real. 3 weeks ago, Elena began. I was scheduled to deactivate. My mission here was complete. I was supposed to return home without anyone knowing I had been here. But then you gave me that meal. You showed me kindness when I wasn't expecting it. You treated me like I was human, even though you didn't know if I was or not. That kindness did something to me. It changed something. It made me question everything I was supposed to do. Marcus felt his mind racing. Deactivate. Mission. Home. None of this made sense. And yet, some part of him knew. Some part of him had always known there was something different about her. Elena, what are you talking about? Marcus asked. But even as he asked, he was afraid of the answer. Elena took a deep breath. The glow around her became stronger. Her appearance seemed to shift. Not dramatically, but noticeably. For just a moment, Marcus saw something else. Something not quite human. Something elegant and powerful and ancient. My name isn't Elena, she said quietly. That's just what I call myself when I'm here. My real name is something you couldn't pronounce with your vocal cords. And I'm not from anywhere on this planet. I'm from somewhere much farther away. And I don't work as a maid. Marcus, I rule worlds. And your kindness has just changed the entire course of galactic history. Marcus stepped backward. His mind was spinning. This couldn't be real. This was insane. People didn't just reveal they were aliens. That only happened in movies. That only happened in stories people told to entertain themselves. But Elena was still standing there. And everything about her made sense now. The strange comments she had made. The way she sometimes seemed to understand things she shouldn't have known. The way she looked at the world like she was seeing it for the first time. The way she had been so grateful for a simple meal. I know this is hard to believe, Elena said. She sat down on the floor. She looked smaller somehow. Less powerful. I'm not very good at this. Usually, I'm not around humans long enough for them to figure it out. And I'm supposed to hide. It's part of the rules. But you treated me like I was important. You saw me. Really saw me. Not as what I am. Just as who I was. And I couldn't keep lying to you. Marcus sat down too. He needed to sit. His legs felt weak. Everything he thought he knew about the world had just shifted. Okay, Marcus said slowly. Okay. Let's say I believe you. Let's say you're actually not from Earth. What does that even mean? Why are you here? And what did you mean about ruling worlds? Elena looked out the window again. The city lights seemed to fascinate her. I'm part of a government, she explained. A very large government. We oversee many planets. Many species. We've been watching Earth for a very long time. We have observers here. People like me who look human and live among humans to understand your culture better. My job was to learn about human society. To understand your struggles. To predict your future. Then I was supposed to report back, and we would decide what to do about your planet. What do you mean? What to do about our planet? Marcus asked. This was getting worse and worse. Some of the council members think Earth should be closed off, Elena said. Isolated. They think humans are too dangerous. Too unstable. They've seen your wars. Your pollution. Your violence. They think you'll destroy yourselves anyway. So why bother? Others think you should be invited to join our alliance. To learn from us. To grow beyond your current limitations. I was supposed to come here and help decide. And what do you think? Marcus asked. Elena turned to look at him. There were tears in her eyes again. But this time, they were different. They were tears of understanding. I thought humans were basically selfish, she said. I thought you were primitive and destructive. I was prepared to recommend that we leave you alone. Let you figure it out yourselves. Or let you fail, if that's what happened. But then you gave me your last meal. You had almost nothing, and you gave it to someone you didn't know. Someone who, as far as you knew, was just like you. Struggling, desperate, and you chose kindness anyway. Marcus listened. He didn't say anything. He just listened. In my entire career, Alina continued, I have never witnessed that kind of behavior in a species that I'm observing. We always think that scarcity leads to violence. That when beings don't have enough, they take from others. They protect themselves. They survive at any cost. But you did the opposite. You were poor, and you gave. You were hungry, and you shared. That one act of kindness has made me question everything I've ever believed about right and wrong. So what happens now? Marcus asked. He felt very small in that moment, like he was holding the future of the entire human race in his hands somehow, even though he was just a janitor with nothing. Now, Alina said, I have to make a choice. I can either report what I found, or I can tell them something different. I can tell them that humanity is worth saving, that there is hope here, that even in your darkest moments, you can still choose to be kind, and that might change everything, for your entire species. Marcus felt the weight of it, the enormous, impossible weight of it. What are you going to do? He asked. Alina smiled. It was a real smile this time, full of hope. I'm going to tell them the truth, she said. I'm going to tell them about you. Word spread quickly through the Galactic Council. An observer had gone off protocol. An observer had become emotionally invested. An observer had witnessed something remarkable on Earth that changed her entire perspective. The Council wanted answers. They wanted to know exactly what had happened. Alina requested a hearing. They agreed to it, but they weren't happy. In their world, you didn't deviate from your mission. You didn't let emotion cloud your judgment. You reported the facts and let the council decide. Alina was breaking rules that had existed for thousands of years. The hearing was held in a location that existed partially in space and partially in a dimension that humans couldn't perceive. Alina attended, but she also brought something else. She brought a recording of Marcus's face when he learned the truth about her. And not just any part of his face. The moment when, instead of being angry or afraid, Marcus asked her what she was going to do. The moment when he cared more about the fate of her planet than about the fear he must have been feeling. The council watched this recording in silence. Some of them were unmoved. They saw it as irrelevant. Just one human. One moment. One act that didn't mean anything in the context of billions of humans behaving badly every single day. But others saw something different. They saw what Alina had seen. They saw a spark of something ancient. Something that existed in all conscious beings if they looked deep enough. They saw the capacity for compassion. For real, genuine, not expecting anything in return compassion. The debate lasted for what would be weeks in human time. Arguments were made on both sides. Some council members argued that one act didn't prove anything. That humans were still dangerous. That Earth should still be isolated. Others argued that if even one human could be that kind, then there was potential in the species. There was hope. In the end, they made a decision. It wasn't unanimous, but it was close enough. Earth would not be isolated. Instead, a new program would begin. Humans would be invited to join the Galactic Alliance. Slowly, carefully, with guidance, but they would be invited. And it all started because one janitor gave away his last meal. When Alina told Marcus the news, he cried. He sat in that empty office building and he cried. All those years of feeling invisible. All those years of thinking that his life didn't matter. All those years of just surviving. And it turned out that his one act of kindness had changed the entire trajectory of human history. "But I didn't do it to save humanity," Marcus said. His voice was shaking. "I just did it because you needed help. Because it was the right thing to do." "I know," Elena said. "And that's exactly why it mattered. You didn't do it for glory. You didn't do it for recognition. You did it because it was right. Because you cared. And that kind of purity is rare. Rarer than you can imagine. In a universe filled with beings who are calculating and strategic, and always thinking about what they can gain. You just cared." Elena couldn't stay on Earth anymore. Her cover was blown. The Galactic Council needed her to help with the new program. She needed to be there to explain human nature to beings who didn't understand it. She needed to be there to help integrate humanity into a larger community of conscious beings. The night before she left, she and Marcus sat together one more time. They looked out over the city. Millions of lights. Millions of people. Most of them had no idea that their entire future had just changed. That somewhere in the highest levels of galactic government, humans were now being discussed, being respected, being invited to grow beyond what they had ever imagined. "Will I ever see you again?" Marcus asked. "Maybe," Elena said. "If humanity joins the Alliance, then someday you'll all know about us. And maybe when that happens, I can come back, and I can show you the worlds I rule. And you can see what kindness looks like when it's been cultivated across thousands of years and thousands of species." Elena left that night, but her legacy stayed behind. And slowly, very slowly, the world began to change. 20 years passed. Marcus was now 63 years old. He had retired from his job at the Meridian building 5 years earlier. He had more money than he had ever had before. Not a lot of money, but enough. The Galactic Council had compensated him. Not with riches. They understood that he didn't care about that. They compensated him with knowledge, with access to technology that made his life easier, with the ability to help others the way he had helped Elena. The world had changed, but slowly. People didn't yet know about the Galactic Alliance. That would come, but there had been changes. Scientific breakthroughs that seemed to happen out of nowhere. New technologies that helped solve problems. New ideas about how to live together peacefully. New perspectives on what it meant to be human. Marcus sometimes wondered if any of it connected back to Elena. If any of it was the result of humans finally being taken seriously by a larger community of conscious beings. He would never know for sure, but he suspected it was true. One day, Marcus received a message. It came through a technology that Elena had left behind. A device that looked like nothing special. Just a small, smooth stone that he kept on his shelf. But it could send messages across vast distances. Messages from other worlds. The message was from Elena. It had taken 20 years to send. That's how far away she was. That's how vast the distances were. It said simply, "The program is working. Humans are being prepared. In another generation, maybe two, you'll be ready. And Marcus, I want you to know something. I've watched your world from where I am. I've seen the ripples of what you did that night. I've seen people helping each other more. I've seen kindness being valued more. I've seen the beginnings of real change. And it all traces back to you. To that moment when you chose compassion over self-interest." Marcus read the message over and over again. He cried again, the way he had cried 20 years earlier. But this time, there was joy in those tears. Not just relief. Not just surprise. But the deep, profound joy of knowing that his life had mattered. That his choice had mattered. That even the smallest act of kindness could change the course of history. He looked out his window. The city had changed a lot in 20 years. But it was still fundamentally the same. Still full of people struggling. Still full of people surviving. Still full of people who had the choice to care for each other or to ignore each other. And now, Marcus knew the truth. That choice mattered. That kindness wasn't weakness. That the most powerful force in the universe wasn't weapons or technology or strategy. It was compassion. Real, genuine, nothing expected in return compassion. Marcus spent his remaining years mentoring young people. He would tell them stories. He would never tell them the full truth about Alina. It wasn't his place to share that. But he would tell them that kindness matters. That the way you treat people who have nothing is important. That you never know when one act of generosity might change someone's entire life. Might change the entire world. And it was true. What started as one janitor giving away his last meal had rippled out into the universe. It had changed minds, changed policies, changed perspectives, and it was still changing, still growing, still affecting beings on worlds that most humans didn't even know existed. The universe is vast, impossibly vast, but it turns out that it's also deeply connected. And it turns out that kindness can travel farther than any spaceship. Kindness can cross any distance. Kindness can bridge any gap between different species, different cultures, different worlds. That's the real story. Not the aliens. Not the galactic government. The real story is about what happens when one person chooses to see another person. Really see them. And chooses to help them, even when it costs something. Even when it means going without. That's what changes worlds. That's what saves species. That's what builds a future worth having. But here's what nobody talks about. This story isn't unique. This happens every single day on Earth. Someone helps someone else. Someone shows kindness when they don't have to. Someone gives when they have nothing. And every single one of those moments matters more than we realize. We think that big changes come from big people making big decisions. But what if the most important changes come from ordinary people making ordinary choices? What if the future of humanity depends not on presidents or scientists or rich people, but on regular people like you and me choosing kindness over selfishness? The truth is, we might already have observers watching us. We might already be being judged by forces we can't see. Not necessarily aliens, but history, the universe, the impact of our choices. And the question isn't whether they're watching. The question is whether we're being the kind of humans we want to be. So here's what we learned. One act of kindness can change everything. A janitor with nothing gave his last meal to a stranger. That moment of compassion prevented Earth from being isolated by an advanced civilization. It opened doors that should have stayed closed. It invited humanity into a larger community of conscious beings. And it all happened because one person chose to care. The biggest takeaway here is this. You don't need to be rich to be generous. You don't need to be powerful to change the world. You just need to see someone who needs help, and you need to choose to help them anyway. That's it. That's the whole secret. If this story opened your eyes to something you didn't see before, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment down below and tell me. What act of kindness have you witnessed that seemed small at the time, but mattered more than you expected? And if you want to explore more stories about humanity's place in the universe, click the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. We're going to dive deeper into what it means to be human in a vast, complicated, mysterious universe. Finally, if you want exclusive access to more HFY stories before anyone else, join our newsletter. Link is in the description. We send out one story every week. Stories about ordinary humans doing extraordinary things. Stories that remind us why our species is worth saving. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.